It is hot under these lights. I'm not even gonna lie. I would not do well in hell. Welcome to my channel. This channel is about borderline personality disorder, and more importantly, my disorder as a Christian and how that affects my life. And if you are new here, I appreciate you coming and checking it out. If you're returning, I appreciate your guys' support. I know I didn't film a lot last week, can't do anything about last week, but I'm here today. So for Testimony Tuesday, I decided that I'm going to share a very interesting testimony. But it's actually kind of the testimony of my friend Butter. Butter is a butterfly. Now, I adopted Butter, rescued Butter a few weeks ago. I was walking the dogs and I noticed this butterfly was like struggling on the floor. Now, I actually believe I saw the butterfly the day before and I thought it was dead. But this day when I saw it, I realized it's not dead and it was really struggling. It kept falling and it was about to fall off of the curb into the gutter where the cars are. So being who I am, I couldn't just let one of God's beautiful creatures fall into the gutter. That's not how I roll. So I put my hand down by the butterfly to see if it would let me, put it somewhere else other than the street. And it crawled right onto my hand. And it wasn't trying to go anywhere else. So I actually put it up to my chest. It crawled onto my chest and it just sat right here like a brooch all the way home while I walked the dogs. So when I got back to the house, I decided I needed to find somewhere to place Butter. Butter wasn't really trying to get off my hand. I was trying to find a safe place to put her. Obviously, she couldn't fly. So I decided that I needed to figure out where to put Butter to try to protect Butter, because now I feel like she climbed onto my hand for help. So this was my responsibility. I was going to put her out on my patio, but I'm like, whoa, let me put her on some flowers on a bush that's taller outside of my door. So I got her to get onto the bush where she could eat some flowers and hopefully be safe because she wasn't on the floor. However, the next morning when we went out to walk the dogs, we realized that she was still on the bush. And, I decided to look up how to care for a butterfly and realized that without her being able to fly, she was pretty much in danger. So it really would make sense for me to bring her in and care for her. So I actually got some flowers, brought them outside. I brought her in, put her on the flowers. That night, I literally sat there and hung out with my butterfly. Like, she climbed onto my hand. She was just chilling on my hand forever. I was bonding with a butterfly. And I know that that's not reality because it's a butterfly. She's not thinking like a person. But there's a point to all this. So Butter is hanging out with me. She's chilling on my hand. She's chilling on my shoulder. She's very comfortable. She didn't have to climb onto me, but she did, and she was hanging out with me. And so I put her back on the plant, and then I got ready to go to bed. But I kept thinking, like, man, what if something comes and gets her? She can't really fly away. Do I have her in danger? I mean, she's probably okay if she stays on my patio, but what if she flies off the patio? Because even though she couldn't fly, she could kind of get a little bit of jump, fly, fall, you know what I mean? And so I felt like, I have like a aquarium with a cage on top, and it's actually for gerbils. But I was like, I could put this together and I could put her in it, but it was so late at night. And I'm like, am I just doing too much? I mean, if the butterfly is here, I'll take care of her. She's probably not going anywhere. But if she really is well enough to fly away, I'd like to give her the opportunity to do that. And to be honest with you, she looked like she had a little tear in her wing, and I actually tried to repair it. I have issues because I saw videos on how to repair it, and I tried to help, and it did not work. But in the morning when I went out there, Butter was gone. And so I was like, wait, did she fly away? Was she successful? Was she showing me that she could fly now? Or did something get her? I'm like, I don't think like something got onto it, but it could have. So I'm worried about this butterfly. I'm out looking everywhere outside my door for her. I can't find her anywhere. So we go to walk the dogs, and we're passing the bush where I had put her originally. And I see the gardeners are coming because they're about to come and blow those leaves and trim those bushes. And I see some movement, and I look down, and she is on the floor under the bush where I originally placed her before I brought her onto my patio. And she is tied up in some hair. And I mean, she is tied up. So she's freaking out. She's trying to get out of it, but she's tied up. She's on the ground. She's flipping and flopping. She would have been blown away any second had I not seen her. I pick her up, bring her back in the house. I try to untangle the string and realize that's not happening. I don't even know if I was making it worse. It was so wrapped up in her, and she was really hurting herself trying to get out. So I go and get little scissors, and I cut all this hair off of her. And at this point I could look at her and go, she's probably not going to make it. But I'm not about to kill the butterfly. That's not my place to do. But I wasn't sure that she looked like she had caused quite a bit of trauma to herself. At this point, they only live so long anyway. And I just kept going, like, why did you fly away? Like, you'd have been fine right here. I gave you a home. I gave you food. I was protecting you. You were fine. But she chose to use what little strength she had to try to get away. But she went back to what I was trying to protect her from. And ultimately, you know, I put her on the flower. I tried to give her some little nectar that I had made for her. And she actually was eating a little bit, but I could tell she was dying. And I had literally, my heart was breaking for this butterfly. Like, this was my little butter, right? And when I came back later that day, she had died. And I know that it's like, it's a testimony about a butterfly, so it may sound a little crazy to you. But God has spoken to me through things like this in the past. There was a time in my life where I was very mad at God. There's been many times in my life where I've been very mad at God. And when I'm hurting and angry at God, I will really let my mental illness have a seat at the podium and be like, go ahead and explain to me why you believe God is not just, and why you believe he's not fair, and how you believe that he's unloving, and the reason that he allows these things to happen, what that reveals about your character. And then I listen to, whether it's my wisdom, whether it's the wisdom of my illness, or whether it's the enemy, it absolutely is not the wisdom of God, because we know that God says that his ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts, right? And so there was a particular time where I was so angry at God, and I just wanted nothing to do with him. And a girlfriend of mine said, do me a favor. You used to go sit at the park and spend time with God every morning, watching the birds, you know, just watching nature. That was like my thing that I did. And I stopped doing that because I was mad. And so she said, just go back and just for a few days, I don't remember how many days she asked me, and just sit there. You don't have to worship, you don't have to pray, just sit there and see if God shows up. So I said, fine. You know, I did that. I had respect for her. She was my prayer partner, and she also happened to be a psychologist. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do that. And I pulled in, backed my car in, and I was sitting there, and I was like, fine, I'm here, God, now what? Now, a bumblebee came, and it just landed right on my windshield, right in front of my face, in front of my purview vision. For those of you who don't know me, I love bees. Bees are my absolute favorite insect, more than a butterfly. I absolutely love bees. I think they're so important. You know, honey is so important. I used to try to save bees. I got stung by trying to save a bee the first time I got stung as a kid. I will always save a bee if I see it drowning. I have a tattoo of a bee on me. I love bees. Now this bee landed on my car in my windshield right in front of my face, and it just started to clean itself. I never seen anything like this. It's just licking its paws and it's cleaning its little antenna, and then it's licking its paw, it's cleaning its little antenna, it's cleaning it, it's giving itself a bath like a cat, and it's cleaning its back legs. And I had agreed to sit there for, I think, 20 minutes. The bee was there for 20 minutes. He landed when I landed, and when the clock said it was time to go, he flew away before I even turned my car on. That may seem like a crazy coincidence to those of you who don't know God, but I know that God was talking to me through that bee, because I was so fascinated with that bee and with what it was doing. And I couldn't help but think, like, you created this bee, and you created this bee so intimately and detailed. You provide what it needs. You allow it to provide stuff that we need. And yet it could just sit there and bathe itself like a cat. I can't, it just spoke to me. And I knew that it was God gently reminding me, like, I did this and I created you. And I know your purpose better than you know your purpose, right? And in the same way, when I come back to this butterfly, I knew that I wanted to protect it and keep it safe, but I still wanted it to have the ability to leave if it wanted to leave, because I didn't feel like I should cage it and hold it, even if I thought it was best for it. And ultimately, it died because I didn't do that. So there's a part of me that feels like I should have did it anyway, but who knows? If it would have died, then I'd blame myself for that. But I guess I think about, like, a butterfly doesn't know that I'm trying to protect it. It doesn't know that I'm going to make it food and give it to it. And if it wanted a place to go, I would just keep it safe. It's a butterfly. It doesn't know that. And in the same way, sometimes we think that God doesn't know what's best for us. We want to be free. We want to flap our wings, even if we're broken, even if we are in danger. We want to be able to go and be free to fly and do our thing. And yet we have someone looking out for us that's going, I know that what's best for you is to stay up under me right now. Let me provide for you. Let me provide shelter for you. Let me love on you and protect you in a way that you're not able to do. And so I know that that's a weird testimony, but that was kind of what I got out of it. Because I just do believe that God will speak to you in different kind of ways. And sometimes he'll speak to you through somebody else. Sometimes he'll speak to you through his word, and sometimes he'll speak to you through his creation. And I believe that in both of these incidents, God was showing me that his ways are higher than our ways, and that he is my provider. He is my protector, just like he is of the insects and the animals. And we look around and we see there's so much wrong. There's so much wrong within me. There's so much wrong around me. And we see all this evil, and then we go, where is God? But God is in the beauty and in everything that is combating evil, and in every ministry that is feeding children, that is rescuing children from slavery, in every ministry where people are putting their lives on the line to go and spread the word about the love of God to places where they're going to die, because you're not allowed to say Jesus' name there, and yet they'll do it anyway. You see him in the people who just go volunteer to hold the babies in the hospital because they were abandoned and they don't have anybody. You see him in the heart of those of us who know him and love him, and so he gave us a heart to know and love and care for people we don't know, people standing on the street, whoever they are. And so I would just challenge you that when you look around and see evil, you don't see God, you see a world who's rejected God. You see people doing evil because they think they know better than God, because they want to be free from God, and they don't care about anything but what they think is right. They think they know, but they don't know, because God knows. And I pray that if you don't know him and you haven't come to trust him, that you would really look into, if there's a creator of this universe who created you, that it would make sense to you, that he would know and want what's best for you. which means there's an enemy as well. And he absolutely does not want best for you. Never has and never will. So that's my testimony. That's what I've gotten out of this last couple weeks and that encounter in particular. And I have thoughts about all the stuff that's been going on lately, but I think I'll save that for another day. And in the meantime, I hope that you are trying today to be a better person than you were yesterday, and trying tomorrow to be a better person than you were today. Because there's always growth that all of us should do. So instead of looking at how other people need to grow, make sure we're examining ourselves, especially if we struggle with mental illness. Make sure that you're listening to the well voice, to God's voice, not to your sickness. Don't let it take the lead. It will never, ever end you in a good place. God bless.